Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna get on here and do a quick 2 for Tuesday. These are some somewhat useful patterns that I guess if you had an office job could come in handy. Yeah, but I think they're neat. Letter opener knives, dual purpose. These were usually for advertising purposes. This is a little imperial. This side's discolored pretty bad, like it's set up late on this side, getting direct sunlight. You can see how dark orange it is compared to this side with the cracked ice shell handle. We have a, come on now, 56 to 88 tang stamp. One of the most common ones you'll find on an imperial shell handle knife. And the rest is pretty self-explanatory. I mean, you take this long unsharpened stiletto dagger style blade, run it in the flap of your letter, and tear your letter open. Obviously, some things shouldn't have to be explained, but this is an advertising knife for Hill Manufacturing Co. Chemical Specialties for Industry, Atlanta, Georgia. And I was really hoping to narrow down that 56 to 88 tang stamp with that company. But unfortunately, Hill Manufacturing Co. in Atlanta is still in business and have been since 1940. So couldn't quite place a tighter date on it, unfortunately. Here's an older example. Still, this is not obviously shell handled, but still kind of the cracked ice celluloid. A little bit higher polish and a little fancier work on this letter opener. Ariel Cutlery Manufacturing Co., Marionette, Wisconsin. Now, Ariel Cutlery Co., or Ariel Cutlery Manufacturing Co. started in Duluth, Wisconsin, and started out in 1909 to 1912. They were in Duluth. Moved to Marionette in 1912. Ariel Cutlery Company was one of the early companies that produced transparent knives, picture knives to collectors. Ariel started in Duluth, Minnesota. Oh, my bad, I said Wisconsin a while ago. In Duluth, Minnesota in 1909, and was founded by Thomas Madden, Chris Richard, and Fred Yeager. Now, I made that sound a little messed up. By Thomas Madden, Chris, Richard, and Fred Yeager, the Yeager brothers. The company employed 186 men in the Duluth operation. In 1912, the firm purchased the Morris Cutlery Company of Morris, Illinois, and then relocated to Marionette, Wisconsin. Pocket knives and other cutlery were the firm's main source of income through World War I. By 1925, the firm added barber and beauty supplies. Eventually, pocket knives were phased out by the late 1940s. Only a few patterns were being manufactured. Many of aerial knives were made by other cutlery manufacturers and delivered to them as skeleton knives without scales. Aerial cutlers then placed picture handle scales on them. Several thousand of these knives were discovered in a warehouse in the early 1970s. These knives were all in mint condition. Some of these knives were used to counterfeit other knives, Winchester in particular. Pretty cool. So this is a marionette mark knife, and the advertising on it is Andis Clipper Co. Christmas 1948. So, as said, most of the knives were phased out in the late 40s. So this is one of the later examples from Ariel, other than the cache that was found in the warehouse. Pretty cool. Now, I have seen some of the Duluth aerial knives that were not picture knives, that actually had bone handles and traditional patterns, Stockman's moose patterns and things like that, and they are very gorgeous knives. I'm still trying to get my hands on one of those, but as of now, this is the only aerial cutlery manufacturing example I have. So there's a couple letter opener knives, advertising knives for Tuesday. Thank y'all for checking them out. This is Hillbilly Proud 762. Thank y'all for being here, and y'all have a good one.